Hi, my name is Annette Fletcher, and I host the Wear Your Crown speaker series entitled Walking into Your Queendom, where we share a variety of queens, what they do, why they do it, why it's important, and how you can connect with them. We hope that you continue watching so that you can support all of our queens in this series. Today we have none other than Karla L. How are you, Karla?
I'm well. I'm very well. And is Karla cruel like me? Cruel. Yes.
All right. Well, it is always a pleasure to see you, Miss Crew. What do you have going on these days?
So so what I do is I'm an attorney. That's my profession. And I have a low bono law firm. So I charge people based on their income. And I've actually kind of shifted my model. So before I was still doing an hourly rate, just a lower hourly rate than a traditional attorney. But now I'm working remotely due to COVID, and I'm doing less litigation, which would be in and out of court, and more transactional stuff. So to make it, again, more affordable to people, I've shifted into a flat rate. So essentially, I talk to a person first, they get basically a free consultation. That way I can fill out what are their needs, what's their legal issue, can I even help them, or do I need to refer them to somebody else? And after talking to them, it usually takes me probably less than 30 minutes to figure that out. Then I take that information, sit down, digest it, figure out how long it's going to take me to do the work. And then I give them a flat cost so that no matter how much time I spend on their issue, they already have a set amount of money. And if they have to break it down into different payments, they can. And I only do, my main area is property law. So, some real estate transactions, recently doing more wills, beginning to start doing more trust, helping people set up their businesses and their legal entity and all the information that needs to go into that. But then also ghostwriting for people who are going to court. So you have a family case, landlord-tenant, all of those things. I do that. So that's my profession. And then I do other stuff on the side because I'm always trying to change the world.
That is awesome. So are you available nationwide, or is it set to a certain area?
That's a great question. So I am only a licensed attorney in Philadelphia. In Pennsylvania, I'm sorry. So I can only practice, meaning represent people in Pennsylvania. And I really can't give legal advice to anybody in any other state. However, that being said, I do give information to people. I'm in the process of creating a pro se litigant app. So this will give people the opportunity. And the goal of that app is to be both national and then eventually international, because everybody, so the way the law works is that you still have to abide by the law, whether you know it or not, right? So right. The idea is to give people enough of a foundation that, one, they can be a good citizen, two, they can have, my business is called Legal Empowerment Group, but they can feel empowered enough because they'll have enough knowledge to change things that they think need to be changed. And then there'll be a section of the app that will provide you with, template forms to write, connect with lawyers in your locality so you can get the support that you need. And also, to be honest, so I'm super honest and it gets me in trouble sometimes, but one of my other goals of this app is that if people have a better foundation, when you talk to a lawyer that gives you big promises, you'll quickly know, that don't make any sense, right? I'm not giving you my money. So my hope is to put some of the bad lawyers out of business and push people towards the good ones.
Okay, that is awesome. So now I live in Delaware. So if I filed a pro hac vici here in Delaware to have you represent me, is that something that could be done, or you would still have to be certified?
Yes. So this is the easiest way to think about it. You know the term power of attorney?
Yes.
Right? Okay. And so most people know what a power of attorney does. That means that person, unless you limit them, they can speak for you, they can sign documents for you, they can make decisions on your behalf, and they're supposed to always do it as you would have done it, right? Think of the words power of attorney. They're
Right.
giving you the power that a normal attorney has because they're licensed, right? So unless I am licensed, I don't have the power to represent you, right?
Okay.
What I can do, what I am able to do is I can access resources that you can't, right? So I can look up a law in Delaware and I can share that law with you and say, here's some information for you. This is how it looks like the law is being interpreted generally. What I can't do is say, if you do, here's the law. If you do
Right.
this, then this will be the outcome. Because as soon as I start doing an analysis, I am now representing it. I've become an attorney and I'm starting to get into legal advice and get into trouble.
Okay.
But I can give you like, I'll give an example. So someone called me and said, I have a custody issue, right? And they said, DHS, or the Department of Health, right, and Human Services, took my child due to I was accused of abuse. Well, so I had to tell them, all right, I don't practice that area, but you're looking for the wrong thing. That's not custody law. That's dependency, right? So you need to know the right term to get to the right attorney. Or someone will call me and say, I need to do a copyright, but it's actually a patent, right? And so,
yes.
and being able to connect you with the right people, those are things I do for people.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. So are there projects or initiatives that we should keep an eye out for that you have coming up outside of the application that is going to support and educate people on the law?
So yes and no.
Okay.
So I just co-authored an article with someone, and I'm going to keep doing more writing about this, and then I'm trying to make it become more public. But we've been talking about in America all of these social justice issues, right? And so you have Black Lives Matter, and then you have people who are like, well, what about the LGBTQ? And then what about indigenous rights and all of those things, et cetera, et cetera. So I am of the mind that we have to rewrite the Constitution. And so what I've been doing outside of this is trying to explain people the mechanism of the Constitution and what the laws are, and why sort of advocating for this idea that all of the things you're fighting for, you're not going to get unless you go back and change the Constitution itself. So outside of that, I'm trying to educate people on the issues that matter to them from a legal standpoint, and help them to understand that all of these things go back to the Constitution, so that all of these different groups, these silos that are working separately from each other, can come together and say, you know what, we all want a voice in a new Constitution, right? And then we can have a very different conversation. So that's sort of the outside work that I'm doing. I've created sort of a mechanism to force that conversation. And so I've had some private conversations with people about how we need to put pressure on the economic system in order for us to truly have that conversation. Because people keep trying to buy into a system that was not designed. It was never designed for everyone to succeed, right? The American dream, right? I have a definition of the American dream, and then there's what people think the definition of the American dream is generally, right? And in either case, whichever definition you choose, it was never designed for everyone to experience it, right?
Right.
And so people keep trying to win when they weren't supposed to. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get people to understand the mechanisms and why it wasn't designed for them to win. However, there's beauty, right? We live in a nation that we can have a peaceful transfer of power, right? We don't have to go to war in order to have a change in our system. And so trying to help people to understand the mechanisms that are available to them to have the transition and get the, great nation that they want, the people, in order to form a more perfect union.
Okay, and so how did you end up getting into law?
That's a funny question.
Because you're a mathematician by nature, right?
So math is my first love. I was a math teacher. So I don't want anyone to ever think I am not the smartest math person in the world. I'm not a coder. I'm not a cryptographer or anything like that. But my brain thinks mathematically. So I started off as a math teacher. I lived in Japan. I taught over there. But throughout my life, from middle school on up, people kept telling me that I should be a lawyer. Like, oh, you sound like a lawyer. You should be a lawyer. And I was like, I hate lawyers. Lawyers are liars. They don't help people. I want to help people, right? And so every time I picked a career path, I wanted to have like this dynamic impact on people. And then I got my master's in criminal justice, and my professors, a couple of them were lawyers, and they kept saying, you're going down the wrong path. You should go to law school. I said, you think like a lawyer, you talk like a lawyer. And I said, nope, don't like lawyers. So that's when I left and went to Japan. So I got my master's degree and then left the country. And then when I came back, I started teaching again. And I was working with my students, and my students started saying, why aren't you a judge? Why aren't you a lawyer? And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, now I've heard it like 7 times. Let me apply to law school. And so I applied. And then even while in law school, my intention was to learn the law, graduate, and then teach it, right? So I was going to go back into becoming a high school teacher that taught the law in high schools. I wanted to design a program across the country to teach the law to high school students. And my professors were like, you need to take the bar. You need to become a lawyer, right? And I was like, no. And every semester I wanted to quit, and everyone was saying, don't quit. You are a lawyer, become a lawyer. And so I even took the bar like, oh, why not? And I passed, and I was like, cool, great. Wasn't super excited. But now on the flip side of it, number one, I will say I did naturally think like a lawyer. The way that I process information is how you were taught to process information as a lawyer, right? So that's one. The second thing is I'm glad that I practice law, because I would not be able to teach it and help people the way that I do without having the experiences in the courtroom and other experiences just helping people with the law. So I needed to have the real life practical experience along with the book knowledge, because what you learn in law school and what you experience in the real world of practice law, they're not the same. They're not the same.
Okay. So if people in Pennsylvania, right? If people in Pennsylvania are interested.
Well, honestly, if people are interested in transforming the world, right? If you really want to change America and you're like, I really want to put in some work, you can reach out to me too, right? But if you want a lawyer to be a lawyer at an affordable rate, and you want somebody who's going to tell you the truth and not, coddle you, I'm super direct. Sometimes I'll tell people, you don't have a case, you need to move on, right? If you want that, then you can reach me. My website is legalempowermentgroup.com. And my email is on there, but my email is kkruel, first initial last name, at legalempowermentgroup.com and .net. You can reach me by my cells, 215-629-6349. And then I'm on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. You can find me there as well. But I consistently work on these side projects, helping people. Like I ran for office a couple of years, 2019. And that connected me with different people. And as a result, I've been doing a lot more conversations about gentrification and combating gentrification and mechanisms that individuals can utilize to help transform their neighborhood. Even though a system may be working against you, it still is a system, just like a computer system. And if you understand how the system itself works, then you can use the system either to your advantage, or you get the tools that you need to modify and make the system better. Sort of like, Mac made Windows better. I just said that. Sorry.
Okay, let me read it. So in terms of how I see Karla is a change maker. She has always been a change maker, even when I met her in Japan. If you are interested, as she said, in making a difference, impacting your community, improving the nation, and what is actually happening within the systems that are currently in place in the states, she is an awesome person to connect to. If you are looking for a speaker as well, someone to share resources and information and knowledge. She is also the perfect queen to represent. She is authentic. She has the knowledge, information, resources, and connections, and you definitely want to look her up. Her information is below on the YouTube link. Yes, it will always be there. Make sure you like, share, follow, and subscribe to her pages. She got more coming up. Don't think this is it. Minutes. And if you missed a piece of it, you might want to rewind it and start again. Karla, thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything you want to close out with?
Yes, I'll say this one last thing. If you want to change the world, don't try to change the world, change you, and all of the world around you will bend to the things that you're changing, and you'll create the ripples that'll transform everything.
This is the Wear Your Crown Empowerment Series with Karla L, walking into your queendom. Thank you very much.